Alright, y'all. Welcome back to the channel, right? And today we are going to be doing a book review for not one but two, because this is a two-part series. Bad Bishop and Twisted Pawn by LJ Shen. Now, let's get down to business, right? This is
Girl, are you being trafficked right now? Right?
no.
At this very moment, has she trafficked you?
Y'all ignore my phone. So, in a week, we have finished Bad Bishop and also Twisted Pawn. This is book 2 in the series. Book 3 will be released September 26th, and that one is a broken pawn. That is going to be one of the best ones.
Damn me out. I'm confused.
So, let's start with book 1. Book 1 is about Tiernan, who is a Irish mafia leader, and Leela, his future wife to be, which this one carries an age gap. He is 34, she is 18. So that is the age gap in between this one. And then not only that, so she is brutally raped during her brother's wedding. So with this one, you have to be careful when you read it, because it gives like a
If you
rape.
don't mind, I'm trying to. I thought it was that, but I don't.
It gives a mystery and also a good puzzle. So, to be specific, Bad Bishop is a man who cannot be redirected. He can't be trusted. And of course, you know, when you play chess, a bishop is one of the pieces that can be moved off the board and sacrificed at any point in time. So can pawns. But with this one, you kind of have to give him credit. They call this man deathless for a simple fact that no matter what he goes through, any torture, he comes out resilient and he comes back 10 times harder. Leela is his wife to be. She is a part of Ferrantes, which they are Italian. So, of course, you know, Irish and Italian can be a little different. But, but, so there's a part in this book, right? Let me see. There is a part where he tells her that, you know, she has to quit trying to kill him. So let's see. Here we go. So on their wedding night, she keeps trying to kill him, and just like a man, he gets attracted and he gets a hard on from it, which is weird. But to each his own, right? He tells her slightly, you know, Leela, you have to quit trying to kill me because you're giving me a massive hard on. And if I continuously get a hard on, we're going to have to do something about it. And I've never been denied, what was it? I've never had denied gratification. But she finds out slowly that she starts to love him, because not only was he protective of her, but he acted up. He had the 10 out of 10 best valid crash shots I have ever seen behind a woman. A man in a grocery store tries to touch her and he cuts off the man's fingers and his private part and give it to her as a gift. That was a very, very unusual, but for a man who can give you any and everything and don't care, he was that man.
Yes.
But in the end, they did end up, you know, with her having a baby. because she was brutally raped. He accepted the baby only because the rapist turns out to be his older brother, and he did off him for it. He offed that man for it. And I give it to him. The way a man can make you trust him even after he knew he was in the wrong was a good thing. But he offed him. And didn't flinch or shed a tear or anything like that. But if you ask me, book 1, I would definitely give it a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Only because the sex scenes were real hot. It had a spicy level of probably 8. It had a rate. It had multiple trigger warnings, but it was definitely a spicy book. Now, what was your question?
Was it like a sex scene or was it
so okay.
A-N-I?
So no.
A-N-I?
With
S-P-A-N-N?
Jesus Christ. So with the rape scene, right? The rape scene was at the beginning of the book because her brother was getting married, and she was followed when they had their private island. They hired different people for the catering. And come to find out, since they were already there, they figured that it was one of the men who were doing the catering. And also 2 different men from 2 different families that absolutely wanted to marry her. They had her play like she was mentally disabled. And that was the issue. She had to play slow in front of people, which she wasn't.
Thank you.
Sometimes it's better to hide the brightest bulb in the box.
You too.
Which her mother was wrong for that. But some mothers have that overprotective baby bird syndrome where they feel like they want to always be needed. And that was her case. So, but with her being raped though, it actually came out good on her behalf because like she always knew. Wait, let me finish. Let me finish. But let me finish. But that is why.
Research history also needs to be studied.
But that.
It came out good for her.
Okay, so wait a minute. But wait a minute. So that's what trigger warnings come in handy, right? Because not only does she let you know ahead of time inside the book that you would not find a hero in this cover. That's not what she writes for. And it's no disrespect to anybody who has DV or anything like that, but sometimes these books are not for you. And then sometimes...
That's SA, not DV. That's SA.
Hold on, DV, SA, and everything else. So it's drug trafficking, also people trafficking and everything else, right? So these books are not for people who feel like their mental state is just as fragile.
But you can't say.
I'm not saying it's okay.
It worked out good.
It did. It actually did because it did work out good because not only did he find out who the rapist was, but he offed him in many multiple forms. Not only did he make his offing very last and very final breath very hard for him because it was his brother, but he took his brother out with no problem because she was pregnant with a baby. That's what kept throwing him off with his love for her. Because it was the simple fact of as if who it belongs to, and also what he felt for her was the challenge. Because he wanted to know who the baby belonged to. So when she had the baby and they looked at the baby and realized that the baby looked just like him along with the red hair, and that's a very, very genetic trait with people who are Irish. When the only people who have that color hair is him, his oldest brother, and his twin sister. Huh?
Don't say right to her. Don't agree with her at all.
What? What are we talking about here? What do you mean you don't agree? You don't agree on what?
Don't agree because she tried talking about some right. Yeah, we know Irish people have red hair.
They do.
Do not agree.
I mean, that's
I mean, but if she's letting you know, hold on. So let me read this, right? Just so we can have an understanding, because I'm definitely not a person who's going to read a book who doesn't have a trigger warning. I'm not going to.
Who are you trying to trigger?
They come with trigger warnings. The books do.
Are you trying to keep yourself triggered?
Not at all. I don't have any. I don't have any.
Why is Halloween stuff out?
Because Halloween is right around the corner.
What about Christmas?
So, this is the note that she left in the beginning of the book. She said, this book is a work of fiction, includes portions of American Sign Language. Though I tried to remain as true to language as possible, I took some artistic liberties. This book is filled with gory depictions of violent deaths. It is unapologetically dark. If you find morally gray characters hard to stomach, please know that no number of terms will be able to help you to digest this book. And it is full of trigger warnings. If you feel that you need to know what the trigger warnings are, there is a website. So, I think it's cool that, she lets you know offhand that this ain't for you. Not only that, the note, it says, to all readers who complain that my heroes are always incredibly jerks, I'm afraid I have terrible news. That is the dedication. So, in this book, the man was considered irredeemable. Personally, he got on my good side. Hey, I liked him. So, now as far as part 2, this one is about his twin sister. Huh?
I can't see.
Oh, that's not good. So, part 2 was about his twin sister. His twin sister name is Tyranny. She had a very rough life, as they both did, because they were cut out of his mother's stomach and his mother was left to die when they were babies, and they were kidnapped from the age of 0 months to 14 years old. Where inside the work camp, his sister had to brutally have her uterus detached from her body at the age of 12. Not only did he throw her into a selective mute stage, but she could not understand English. So with them speaking and learning Russian as a first language, she had to learn English in a whole nother form, and it was always hard for her. Her brother learned and caught on to English very well. She did not. But the story was beautifully artistic wrote, and so this is one of the character arts inside the book. This right here, this beautiful young lady, is Tyranny, and this is Achilles. Achilles Ferrantes is a man who annoys her and also loves her at the same token. He always looked out for her when she was younger and they were trying to learn English, but she messed over him and the man got burnt up on the side of his face, which messed up his looks. But he carried a few tattoos, which made him a whole lot better, because any man that carries tattoos and scars is usually a good thing, right? Achilles has one of his people follow her around as a personal guard because he doesn't want her having sex with random people, trying to control her like that. Not only did he off people that she tried to have sex with.
Wait a minute, hold up. Go back.
What's the question? What is the question? What's the question?
So, like, a lot.
Where are we starting?
Because if I actually get the book, no point.
What do you mean?
She wants you to stop talking because she ain't telling us the book. You keep going to tell her the whole book.
This is just a baseline. Y'all want me to do the review, right?
Yeah, you need the review.
Okay. Now.
No, I need you to be checked into a mental hospital. I ain't asking no damn review. I was talking to Jay. What the hell?
Why do I need to be checked?
We got you right.
Why do I need to be checked into a mental hospital? Didn't I not tell you that my therapist told me that I am fine?
Turn the wheel. Turn.
Now, there's a deal that is made between his father, her brother and also another man who is a part of the Camorra, which is the Italian mob, for him to marry her. And he already knew that Achilles had a thing for her, and the easiest way to set him off was for him to be like, all right, look, I need you to deliver her personally to me. We're going to get married and everything else. She cannot have children. That was always her biggest flaw, and she felt like it was one of those things that would keep any man away from her. Come to find out, it was not. It was not. Achilles always kept his love from her, no matter how many times she tried to mess over him. And he didn't even care that she would mess over him each and every time. Because my boy was stuck. He said she can try to kill him, and he would jump off the bridge each and every time behind her. But in the end, they did end up together. And all he wanted was for her to make coffee for him every morning.
Sounds so chaotic.
It has so many. So this one has so many chaotic elements because this one was a whole lot of chaos because Tyranny, like, not only was she okay with living in chaos, but Achilles was he was a psychopath. And they say men who are psychopaths cannot love people, which is false. Apparently, it's false. He lived up to every expectation, to killing every man who he thought was going to have sex with her. He lived up to every expectation about it. He was offing everybody. He didn't care who it was. If he couldn't have sex with her, wasn't nobody finna do it. And if you had to go, you just had to go. And he wasn't leaving you no choice. He was going to off everybody. He didn't mind. But if you ask me, this book was...
Feel like I did you wrong.